entity restricts water supply to some communities in Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Catherine.
But how bad is the situation? Kalisha Williams has her story.
According to the National Water Commission, the Hermitage Dam is at 54% capacity and the Mona Reservoir is about 70%. And with limited rainfall over the past few months, Jamaicans will have to get creative and conserve the water they use daily. The situation is especially concerning in the corporate area and St. Catherine. Speaking on Radio Jamaica's Hotline program today, Acting Corporate Public Relations Manager at the National Water Commission, Delano Williams, explained what's happening now.
What we're seeing is that the dry period is extremely dry. So amidst all the contingencies, all the gains from the water management, the valve works, the pressure management that we've been doing across the KSA and now in Portmore, we still are really and truly declining.
As such, there have been scheduled water lockoffs in Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Catherine.
So areas such as Pope Pastures, Mona, Ligani, sections of Barbican, Kintyre, Gordontown, Mona Heights, Goldsmith Villas, and Augusttown, they will primarily see service between 6 a.m. each day and 9 p.m.
As for other sections of the corporate area, Mr. Williams said areas below the Ministry of Justice, for instance, Eastwood Park and Malines Roads, Hagley Park Road, Dunrobin, Waltham Park and St. Andrew Park, Halfway Tree Road and Richmond Park will receive water mostly in the daytime from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Which means they're going to be losing it anytime after 6 p.m. this evening. They won't get it back until tomorrow morning. Alright, so again, persons need to be in preparation, have some storage so you can carry out your business in a decent and convenient way.
It's not clear how long this will continue, but Mr. Williams said there may be more water disruptions over the coming days.
If it rains and the reservoir and dam levels come back up to appreciate the levels, we will relax. If it means that there is a further decline, then we will also have to perhaps put in some stricter measures.
Minister with responsibility for water, Matthew Samuda, had announced that there will be a $50 million water trucking program to assist the worst affected areas. Kalisha Williams, TVJ News.
Now over in Manchester, political representatives say they have a water crisis which could be addressed if the state makes proper use of several wells in the parish. Mr. Campbell has that angle.
Manchester is in a crisis when it comes to water.
Northwest Manchester Member of Parliament Michael Phillips is concerned, but Councillor for the Belfield Division Mario Mitchell says he has the solution.
We're not short of water. There's about 17 wells like this, sources of water that have never run dry.
So why does MP Phillips say only 30% of the constituency has potable water?
Community of Comfort Hall and Evergreen was one of the largest water tables in the parish of Manchester. More than Porus gets its water from St. Elizabeth. About 4 months going into 5 months now, we haven't had water down there. The pump at Union keep on breaking down. The other section of the constituency, the Mandeville area, will get water from Porus or from St. Elizabeth down in Pepper. Inconsistent. The hills of Huntley, where the water will come and stop, get water probably 2 or 3 days a week.
Additional housing developments have increased the demand for water, and that is expected to get worse when the highway from Clarendon to Manchester is completed. Hence, this advice about the Perth development.
We had said to the NHD people that we cannot approve the development because we know the parish had a water situation. We were guaranteed by the NWC through a letter from one of their vice presidents that there will be some development or some water infrastructure put in place.
But Mandeville Mayor Donovan Mitchell says little improvements have been made. It's why he supported Councillor Mitchell's call for the government to make better use of natural water resources which are already in Manchester.
When you have about 17 wells like this is one. They're owned by the National Irrigation Commission, they're owned by the National Water Commission, they're owned by the Backside Company, Windalco. And some of them are not being used, some of them are underutilized, some of them are not even having any infrastructure. The amount of wells in Chorus in these areas can be able to supply all of Manchester, all of St. Elizabeth, all of Clarendon, all of Trelawney, to as far as St. Chatfield.
In the meantime, the political representatives are asking for special allocation to tackle the drought situation in Manchester. They say they're spending millions weekly to truck water to schools, health centers, and communities.
When I became member of parliament, it was about 250 million. If I'm to ask or add inflation to it, you're talking probably about $500 million now.
We have increased our trucking of water to the parishes. But divisions like I represent in the Belfield division, which is a hilly terrain, having struggles. If we don't truck water, the people don't have access to water, and it's not raining now.
Krista Campbell, TPJ News.
Two of the victims involved in the crash on the north-south leg of Highway 2000 yesterday remain hospitalized. The two, a member of the Jamaica Defense Force and a 9-year-old child, are believed to have been victims of a gun attack prior to the crash. Sandy Williams has our story.
About 6:30 p.m. on Sunday, approximately 5 people, including a child, were leaving a function in Blue Hole St. Anne when they were intercepted by armed men aboard 2 vehicles. The men opened fire on the car, killing 1 passenger and injuring 4 others, including a member of the Jamaica Defense Force and a 9-year-old child. The dead man has been identified as 24-year-old Davon Anderson, also known as Dada, of Greenwich Town, Kingston. TVJ News understands the injured persons were being transported to the hospital when their motor vehicle crashed on the north-south leg of Highway 2000. Operations Officer for the St. Catherine South Police Division, Superintendent Houghton Nicholson, was traversing the area at the time of the crash.
I heard a loud sound behind my vehicle. When I looked, I realized that at least 2 vehicles had collided, and one of the vehicles hit the embankment and went over into a deep ravine close by.
The victims were removed from the wreckage by emergency responders.
They managed to extract 5 persons from the ravine, and 4 of them were transported to the hospital. One of the persons was pronounced dead on location by a medical doctor who was passing. 2 other persons received injuries and they were taken to the hospital for treatment.
The JDF soldier who was driving the vehicle has undergone emergency surgery. CIB detectives from St. Anne and the St. Catherine South and North divisions are investigating the incident. Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
And carnage on the nation's roads continue to climb. This, as an employee of the Grand Bahia Hotel in St. Anne, is the latest victim. As Sandy Williams reports, this is the 2nd such incident in 48 hours.
An employee of the Grand Bahia Hotel in St. Anne died Monday morning after he was hit by a motor vehicle. The identity of the deceased has not yet been released. The incident happened just 48 hours after another employee at the same resort was killed in a motor vehicle collision. He has been identified as 25-year-old Omain Brown of Hopewell Park in Discover Bay.
It is a very, very unfortunate reality when you see literally the carelessness of the driving of the motoring public, some of the motoring public in the vicinity of areas and communities where people are commuting and moving around.
The loss of the 2 employees has impacted the staff at the Bahia Hotel. Fabian Brown is responsible for external affairs.
Mood is somewhat, to say the least, bad. Very challenging for all of us because you have lost a colleague, you have lost somebody who you know, you have lost somebody who you have worked with. So it cannot be an easy road right now. now.
Mr. Brown says grief counseling is being provided to family members of the victims as well as staff.
We are doing the best we can to offer comfort, consolation, and other services, not only to the families of the deceased team members, but also our own team members now on the property.
The incidents have pushed the total number of road fatalities since the start of the year to more than 40. Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
Safety and security at the UWI Mona campus is again under the spotlight following an alleged incident between a firearm holder and a student on Sunday. This time it's coming from the chairman of Chancellor Hall and the UWI Mona Guild. As Jamila Maitland reports, they are calling for an investigation into the matter.
What started out as a sporting activity between students of the Chancellor Hall and Mary Seacold Residency at the University of the West Indies turned violent on Sunday. Reports are that a student of the Chancellor Hall was assaulted by men associated with the management of the Mary Seacold Hall. It ignited a protest on campus Sunday evening. The students are calling for the Student Services and Development Manager of Mary Seacold Hall, Dr. Nadine Spence, to step down. In two separate statements, the UWI Mona Guild and Chancellor Hall chairman have accused Dr. Spence of acting unprofessionally. They've called for Dr. Spence to step down pending an investigation. But in another statement, Dr. Spence denied the claims. Additionally, she said she referred the matter to her lawyer. She remains open, however, to an investigation. Meanwhile, Chairman of Chancellor Hall, Shaquille Ramsey, said a meeting to discuss the issues took place Monday.
We are fed up as students of the University of the West Indies of having to speak about security, of having to speak about protection from gun violence. The campus is declared a firearm-free zone. However, this would have been the second time Chancellor Rights would have had an issue with a firearm involved, and there was no outcome for the first. We don't intend that there will be no outcome for this one.
When TVJ contacted UWI campus security, we were told that a formal report had not been made. Jamila Maitland for TVJ News.